This video is a response to a few comments I got from a video I made a while ago, and I'll put a link here in the video at the top so that you can take a look at that if you want to. That was on how to attach wood posts to a new stairway using anchor bolts that would be embedded in the concrete before you poured it. And this one here is going to be on how you can attach the same post to a concrete stairway after it is already built and you do not have any anchor bolts in the concrete. So the first thing I want to do is explain you could have two types of stairways, one that would be solid concrete, and this would be on a smaller stairway. If I was going to build a stairway with 2 or 3 steps, it would be solid concrete, or most of it. But you could always have a stairway with a hollow spot in between, or where they would have used some type of fill material to save a few dollars in concrete. And you would end up with a spot like this. And it could actually create problems when you drill into your stairway. I've drilled into stairways before about 3 inches and went right through it because there was a void there. Sand or some type of a fill material. So I just wanted to throw that out there, point it out that you could have a 3-inch, a 6-inch wall, an 8-inch wall, something like that, if you don't have a solid set of stairs. And if that is the case, you might just need to relocate your holes that you are going to drill in the stairway. Now, for those of you who have watched enough of my videos, I try to provide you with a few alternatives, and this is just going to be one of them. If you have a concrete stairway that is sitting on top of soil, your front yard, your lawn, grass, you can actually dig a few holes and install posts in the same way that you would for a fence post. And I'm going to go ahead and put a link in here also for that, to give you some more ideas on better ways to pour a post like this and make it last a little longer, hopefully. So here we have the post up against the concrete stairway. Dig some holes. These are 12-inch square, or 1 foot by 1 foot, and they're about 18 inches deep. And the post, try to keep it about 2 or 3 inches above the soil if possible. I like to embed the post in the concrete. I have heard some people that do not like that. That is fine. You can make up your own mind on that. This is just one example. In the next example, if you have a solid concrete patio, let's say that the stairs are on, or you cannot dig a hole, or you do not want to dig a hole and you want to attach the post to the concrete stairway, this right here might help you out. Now, I wanted to point out here, you can see here where this one here is going to have the supporting bolts a little farther apart, and this post is going to be a little stronger than this one. I've actually seen people drill into the concrete and use epoxy anchors, and the edge of the concrete just breaks right out. A big chip of the concrete stairway just come right out with the post. So this idea might not work as well as this one, and I'll try and provide you with another video later on how you can actually build the handrail system for something like this using either one of these methods. And of course, the one on the top is going to be the strongest. It's going to be longer and have more room to attach more bolts to it. Now let's go ahead and put the bolts in, and these are going to be all threads with an epoxy system, and I will make a video about those, how they're installed in the future, but there's a lot of information already out there on how to install epoxy all threads, and this is what I would recommend over the anchor bolts. You'll see here in a second. And here's a view of it through the post. And of course, this is what it would be like after it was embedded in the stairway. And of course, it's nice I can pull away the stairway and give you an idea about what it would look like. You wouldn't be able to do this in if we were out on a job site somewhere. So here we can see there is a hole drilled into the concrete that would match the same hole that was drilled into the post. And then you'd run the all thread through it, put the epoxy in there, let the bolt set for a day, and then tighten it down, and you are good to go. So this is what it would look like with the all threads and the epoxy system. And again, you can get more information on that. Just type in epoxy anchor systems, anchoring systems in a concrete slab. I'm sure you'll find what you need. In this example, I'm going to use the wedge anchors. And of course, I countersunk this one in. Instead of having it sticking out like this, you can actually countersink a larger hole and make it look a little nicer. But this is going to provide you with more structural support than this one here. But again, you don't have to, you can just countersink them a little bit into it. And that's instead of having something like this sticking out. And again, that's just personal preference. Give you an idea what it would look like here in X-ray view. You can see the nut and the washer, and of course the wedge anchor. Now these things kind of work. You drive them in, and as you tighten them up and pull them out, it kind of drives this little wedge into the kind of groove here it's designed for, and it puts pressure, excessive pressure on the hole that you drilled. And of course you need to make sure that you drill the right size holes for these also. This isn't going to work as well. And I've seen people, this requires a 1/2 inch hole for a 1/2 inch anchor. And they all they have is a 5/8 bit. It's just not going to work. I shouldn't say that. You might be able to figure out your own way for it. Always follow the instructions. I like to go with that. We can see here where this one's in a little deeper also, since it was countersunk. And of course we can see the hole here that lines up with the hole in the post. Bolt the holes there. And of course make sure that they don't need to be deeper than they should be. If you only need a 2-inch hole, maybe go 2 1/4, 2.5 inches. No need to go 4 inches. Here's our posts. And then, of course, the holes here. Now, one more thing I'd like to point out. We can see here that we're close to the corner here. And I mentioned that this part right here popped off. I would move this back a little farther. I drew it in here to provide you with an example of maybe what not to do with these here. If you feel comfortable, go for it. If that's the only way you can do it, that's fine. But if you can, move it back and then move the bolt a little lower. I would like to see it to where this is within 3 inches maximum, but 2 inches would be pushing it. So 2 inches minimum to the hole, 3 inches preferred for the minimum distance is going to be a little bit better, a little farther away. But again, I understand if you have a situation like this, you're not going to be able to, you just put one bolt in here, one all thread, or framing anchor, and you're not going to have a very sturdy post. And if you don't have the room, you might have to move it back even further or put a few more posts in. So anyway, that is it for this video. I am going to try and provide you with some more information about the anchoring systems. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment area and I will answer them as soon as possible.